Welcome back to a sold-out Georgia Dome in Atlanta for Monster Jam. We've got the qualifying done. Now we set the bracket for racing. It'll be an 11-truck bracket, though, because War Wizard's not going to answer the call for round one of racing. That'll give Tony Farrell and Blue Thunder a bye run. Some interesting matchups in that first round, including Gunslinger and Gravedigger near the bottom.
That's the pair that catches my eye as well. And Adam Anderson's going to have to get that truck perfect if he's going to hang with a Gunslinger.
It will be a bye run, as we mentioned, for our fastest qualifier, Tony Farrell and Blue Thunder.
Boy, just beautiful rate transfer there. Just kind of picks up the front tires a little bit.
Now, Ken, as we've talked in the past, when a truck has the opportunity to get a bye run in a field this competitive, this is a valuable additional practice or qualifying lap, because unlike other forms of racing, you don't get to come out and just run 30, 40 laps here. Tony needs to take advantage of this. And also, this time will be used to determine lane choice in the next round.
Exactly right, and he loses about a half second from his qualifying effort here. That's kind of shocking.
Let's take a look at the run. He got
there it is right there.
Yeah.
He just overdrove that turn. He's got more confidence in it right now, and he went out there and tried to see what the truck would do and what it would hold.
Let's go down to Brenda, see if she can find out what he thinks about that bye run.
All right, Tony, well, are you making any changes to the track because the track is changing?
No, not really. The corner's starting to get a little slicker. I'm just trying to use my rear steering a little more than the front steering. We're just going to see how it goes. I mean, we got plenty of horsepower. We don't need no more. If anything, we might cut it back a little bit.
Sure does appear Mr. Farrell's going to be around this event a long time tonight. Now, we're going to go racing on this head-to-head course. Alan Pizzo, the 25-year veteran in the Prowler, takes on the sport's only 7-time world champion, Tom Meents, at Maximum Destruction. The trucks have pulled to that Advanced Auto Parts starting line, looking for green. We talked so much about horsepower. Meents doesn't get left at the starting gate in horsepower, I'll tell you that.
Well, Meents has always made big steam for a long time. He and his father built their own power plants. We take a look at the Prowler here. That one's got horsepower, but I mentioned it before, too much fight in the back, and he can't turn the front of the truck.
Alan Pizzo driving his teammate's truck because he's building a brand-new top-to-bottom Predator that we should be seeing here in a couple of weeks on Monster Jam. What a wild end-up. Oh, no, Tom's on his roof.
And back on the tires, kind of.
Well, yeah, he ended up on the wall protection, but everybody's on their feet screaming, but that's not how you want to end up a winning race.
He had to get on the binders. I mean, he just didn't have a choice, and it kicked him off that stack so erratic, but he got the win. That's all he's worried about. That truck will be fine.
Yeah, he's going to take it back to Mullet back there. True Chief let him go to work on that part. He's going to have fun with the fans. Let's watch it again, Ken. What happens here?
I mean, he hits the stack pretty nicely, but when he lands on that left front, he's got so much rebound in the rear of that truck for whatever reason, it just kicks the back of the truck up in the air, and then it gets wild.
Tom and I were talking earlier today, Ken, about his great saves, and some people saying it's luck. He says, well, it's not really luck. It's just a law of averages. He says to save that many, you got to go over a bunch of times, and there's one he couldn't save. We'll find out, and Tim Mazenis has got some work to do that. By the way, his Mullet's real name. We ought to talk about Mullet because that's kind of the nickname, but Mazenis will be getting that crew back to work. Now we see another bye run, and what's happened here is that Thrasher's remote ignition interrupter would not work, and Ken, you know safety number one. If the RII doesn't test, the truck doesn't run.
Absolutely right. The officials standing on the sidelines have to have control of that truck. They have to be able to shut it off with the push of a button. If they can't, they're not allowed to run. Good-looking job here for Avenger as well. Man, I'm telling you, he's picking up the pace. He's actually got this truck moving around here pretty nicely.
And Jim knows that lane choice could be important to him in the next round, so he ran it all out and did a nice job.
26.97. That would have been good with the number 2 qualifying spot if he had done it in qualifying, but the second quickest lap here in round 1.
We had heard from Kohler earlier. He certainly has this turning course to his liking. Coming back, more round 1 racing. Don't go away. The Gravedigger fans loving the action in Atlanta with all the other Monster Jam fans as we are in round 1 racing action. We've just started the round. Blue Thunder, Avenger, Prowler have already advanced into round 2, where 6 trucks will then make it and to have a shot to get to the semifinals. Now, let's get to the bottom half of this situation in terms of bracket, and that is bringing Cowboy to the line. Steve Reynolds, the driver originally who came up with the Team Men's Camp, now running for Scott Hartsock's team out of Florida. And there's the Team Scream member, Chris Bergeron and Brutus. They're looking for green. Again, Brutus lifts those front wheels off the ground, but plants it very quickly. Remember, his qualifying run, he was all over the place. So far, so good. He's much better this time.
he does look a lot better. Steve Reynolds kind of hooked and edged qualifying. He looks a little better.
Good races. They're going to come to the final turn. They've got one more turn to make, and then they'll crash it for that Ford finish line. And he wins the race. Remember, Cowboy won a televised event a year ago, but this time he's knocked out in the first round by Chris Bergeron and Brutus, and that's a good time.
That's a great time. Chris Bergeron really did something to that truck to calm it down some from qualifying. Look at that turn right there. I mean, rear steer worked perfectly, nice and smooth. The truck's not wandering around. What a nice change.
Steve Kohler and all the crew working on the Avenger and Brutus truck have to be happy. Let's go down to Brenda, who's with our winner.
All right, Chris, well, you took out Cowboy in round 1. You ready for round 2?
Oh, round 2. Taking Cowboy out is huge, bringing my confidence up. I had a terrible qualifying pass, but taking Cowboy out is huge. He's fast. I got the big man next round. It's all hold bar. He's going down. He's going down.
He's talking about his boss.
Yeah, and they don't care if they win the event. They care about who's going to win when Avenger and Brutus square up in round 2.
That's bragging rights in the truck to the next show, baby.
Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger goes up against the second generation of the biggest name in Monster Jam, Adam Anderson, subbing in for his injured father, driving Daddy's Gravedigger. Nice start on the Georgia clay for Adam Anderson. The truck is working very well, and he's got about a truck length edge first time by. Another lap to go, though, and it's time for Gunslinger to make up ground. Scott Hartsock, one of the premier veterans in the sport. There goes the turning pole. There goes the truck. Anderson is on his roof.
Boy, he and Mintz have both really struggled with this course here tonight.
Can you believe this? Wow.
Hopefully we get another look at it and find out what went wrong, but obviously, coming off of that stack, it just kicked the truck at a bad angle and was not able to keep it underneath him.
He was ahead in the race. Yeah, he was ahead in the race, and then Adam goes over, and you saw it just went crazy as he came across the finish line. He would have had to go around the turn one more time, but it was right there, what would be the 50-yard line if this were a football field, where the problems come up here, Ken.
Yeah, he just didn't have it lined up perfectly, and it sent him off to the inside. He knew he couldn't get in there. He hit one of the turning posts. It's exactly what happened, and he turned the truck over.
Let's go down and hear from the winner, Scott Hartsock.
All right, Scott, well, did you even know that Digger rolled?
Not until they shut us off with the RII. I was coming around that corner myself. I got bicycling, was in there trying to save it, and all of a sudden they shut us off. I looked down track. There's Digger upside down, and it was like, yes, my time has come, you know. But, hey, that's all it is. I hate to take him out like that. He rolled over. I didn't, so I got the win.
Kind of pretty much sums it up. Mr. Hartsock telling it like it is. Our final race of round 1, Greg Adams, a native from Georgia, will be going up against John Seesock in his debut season as the driver of the popular Batman truck. Wow, Batman just left Annihilator sitting at the line. It's a huge early advantage for John Seesock.
As a drag boat racer once told me, you've got to stomp on that throttle pedal like you're stepping on a snake's head. Man, when you get after it, you've got to smash it down. He didn't do that. He kind of squeezed on it.
You got to love Annihilator, though. We see all these new style trucks and concept trucks. That's old school to me, you know?
Absolutely.
It's a new body style, but it's still kind of just sticking to the stock and sticking to the basics there. And I love the balance of the great concept trucks and looks like that. But this time, it's the concept of Batman that's advancing to the next round.
And again, I mean, we take a look at John Seesock. John Seesock just quietly coming along here, doing a nice job.
You know, he's always been one of the more consistent racers you see from John. And his freestyles, we'll see when we see him throughout the year. Again, he just keeps things under control and uses his head here. That's getting him into the next round.
You're right, Scott. I think it's the perfect description. He always stays in control. He doesn't overdrive the truck, and he takes what it will give him every single time. He doesn't push the limits. And if you make a mistake, he's going to beat you.
John Seesock has advanced into round 2 as you're on board with him. A great shot looking right over the nose of the Batman machine as he flies it up over that Ford finish line. So Seesock takes Batman into round number 2. We'll get those matchups set momentarily, but we're going to take it right now down to Brenda Price, who's with John Seesock.
All right, John, well, you got a round 1 win over Annihilator. How's it feel?
It feels good. The truck's working awesome. The track is changing, like we said before. The moisture's starting to come out of the track, and it's starting to get rutted up, you know. So every pass is different, you know. I felt that pass was a little bit slower than my qualifying time. I think I need to step it up a little bit for the next time.
6 trucks have advanced into the second round of Monster Jam competition. We pair them up and get back to racing next. Back in Atlanta's Georgia Dome, Scott Douglas, Ken Statt, and Brenda Price. Look at all the Monster Jam caps and flags and T-shirts. And whether you're at the event live or whether you go online, make sure you're wearing the colors of the team that you supported Monster Jam. Here we go to round 2. Round 1 eliminates both Gravedigger and Maximum Destruction. They will not win this event. There are your 6 contenders remaining.
Here's a look at the Gravedigger, Adam Anderson. Keep in mind, you know, we put a lot of weight on this kid's shoulders. This is only his second full year in competition. He's yet to drive on a track this tacky, so he's got a lot to learn.
All right, Adam, well, obviously rolling over isn't what you want to do in racing. What happened out there?
It's definitely not, man. You know what? I did the same exact thing Tom and I watched him do it, and all the guys were like, oh, you're going to do it next. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Truck's bouncing around in the back end. Just lost control. That's it. I mean, I tried to save it one time. The rear steer is so fast on Dad's truck. It's much faster than mine. Tried to save it with that and actually whipped the truck around too fast.
What do you think were the reasons for you rolling? Was it the track? Was it you, the truck?
It's a little bit of it's a little bit of all that. It's a little bit of the truck, the track, and me. I was driving the truck too hard out of the turn. It was actually flat track and out of the turns up the ramp, making it kind of jump sideways in the air, and then you have to correct in the air, and then when you land, you have to correct back the other way. It's a lot of driving to do at one time. And this tacky clay in Georgia doesn't work like that.
It's been a wild night already. Tom Meents, Maximum Destruction, did win his round 1 race over Prowler, but remember the problems at the end. So Tom is still undefeated. He's just out of this competition. What's going on with that team?
Hats off to the USHRA, safety first. He had problems with the roll cage. It wasn't safe enough. They're welding it up right now.
You have 2 veterans in this race, but Tony Farrell just schooled Alan Pizzo at the starting line.
Farrell is on his game tonight, and I think Pizzo picked the wrong combination. We talked about it. He's learned how to drive it. That's a better turn right there, but it's not going to be enough to hang with Farrell tonight.
And he's not going to be able to come from behind and catch a big horsepower truck like Blue Thunder unless Tony makes a mistake, and he does not look like he's going to make any mistakes tonight. Farrell, as you just said, brought his A game tonight.
He really did, and that truck is set up perfect for this clay, 27.16, although he has slowed down dramatically from his 26.06 in qualifying, so maybe this track is doing exactly what he said, just getting slicker and slicker throughout the night.
Continuing to win, so at least at this point, he doesn't need that 26.06. He has put himself into the semifinals. Tony Farrell and Blue Thunder having a great night in Atlanta. Let's send it back down to Brenda and get Tony's thoughts.
All right, well, you took out Prowler. You look like you got a handle on that track out there, and now you're going into semifinals.
I tell you what, them corners are getting a little slicker, but you know, we got some big horsepower there behind that Ford, you know. We're going to pull out some bold moves tonight. We're just going to knock them off one at a time.
That's pretty good. Tony got that bull moves in there. He knows how to do this game. I like that.
He's been playing for a while. It's not his first walk in the park.
That's why the Ford guys love Tony so much. Here's Chris Bergeron bringing Brutus out to take on his teammate, his boss, and the guy he wants to beat worse than anybody else, Mr. Excitement, Jim Kohler, and the Avenger. It's a team battle. They get off the line even. It is significant, though, how much more powerful Brutus seems coming off the line.
And a big mistake out of Kohler right there, so he's in trouble. Bergeron's got a shot at beating the boss.
Chris Bergeron. Can he get the win? This is a real bragging rights battle right here. It's also the chance to get the semis, but Kohler's back in the game here.
Oh, beautiful turn right there.
Jim Kohler hammers it as they come to the finish line. It is the Avenger, and that's a major, major comeback for Jimmy Kohler, who had such big problems early on that lap.
Yeah, he really did have a great comeback right there. And, of course, on the other side, as we were watching Chris Bergeron, it looks like he had a shot at winning, but this last turn really helped out the Avenger. He just hit it perfectly.
Kohler's thrilled to be in the semifinals, but Jimmy's really thrilled to have beaten Brutus. Now, we're going to go down and let Brenda Price get in the middle of this celebration. Brenda, if you can, turn the volume down on that microphone just a little bit.
Oh, the smell of sweet victory, baby! Yeah! He got the loser in that bracket. The ride home's going to be awesome. No matter what happens the rest of the show, when you beat your teammate, which you want to see them good, but when you beat them, you can tease them all the way home. Yes! Yes!
He used the wrong hand to make the L. It was a reversed L.